Welcome back to Adventures with Bam. I'm Brent Billings.
And I'm Maggie Billings.
And this episode has us reflecting on our sneak attack visit to the ranch.
Indeed, a sneak it was. We've talked in the past about how a couple of our visits out to Montana to visit my grandma have been thwarted and canceled by last minute cancellations. So we decided to be a little sneaky and just kind of go without telling her that we were coming so as to reduce the chances of being canceled on. But we did it responsibly. We communicated with other family that was already there and, made arrangements to stay at other places so we weren't just ambushing my grandma and staying at her house. But my brother did arrive a couple days early. That was a surprise. And once he was there, he's like, by the way, the rest of the family's coming too. So we surprised her.
It was a good trip, but an exhausting trip. So when we got home last week, we were technically in time. We could have recorded and released an episode, but I was like, you know what? We don't need to do an episode between Christmas and New Year's. Let's scrap it. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so we did.
Tired is the perfect way to sum up how we feel. Yeah.
We stopped in Great Falls on the way there, which was planned. And we also stopped in Great Falls on the way back, which was not planned.
Yep.
Because the snow and ice and clouds and fog and whatnot in the passes foiled our plans. We were going to go actually a little bit south of Missoula on the way back, but we had a long second day of travel back, so that added to our tiredness.
But the way over, we stayed at a hotel in Great Falls called the Arvon on the 23rd. And just about had the place to ourselves. The little pub attached to it was packed that night because it was trivia night. But otherwise, like the hotel was pretty much empty, and it was very empty the next morning, Christmas Eve, when we got up and had breakfast before we left. But the hotel's super cool.
It's basically an art gallery.
Yeah. Lots of art. It's all for sale. Probably hundreds of pieces of art, you were saying.
I didn't even attempt to count, but there's 3 floors and 4 hallways and just lined with art on both sides and sometimes stacked. Some pieces are really big, some are smaller, and so they have like 3 in a section or whatever. But a big range of artists and styles, and probably something that anybody could like.
If you have some money and like art, great place to go.
That's true. They're all for sale.
Yeah.
And you stayed there a couple years ago when you went to visit the ranch, and a friend had some artwork up at that time.
Yeah, I stayed there with my parents. We had never stayed at that hotel before. And we're walking down the hall to our room and just looking at the art. And we were like, hey, what? This is Kyle Paliato is his name. And he's a painter and a family friend. And so found a few of his pieces there, and that was fun. And they weren't there this time, so they sold.
Yeah, the hotel staff told me that they don't really take anything down. They just, unless it sells. So
just great.
If it's not there, it means he sold it.
But yeah, it was all decorated for Christmas, and the boys were very excited to stay in a hotel. So just sweet and cozy and really fun. And so that was the way over. That was day 1 of the way over. And then Christmas Eve, woke up, checked out, and drove the rest of the way to the ranch and did Christmas Eve service there at Whitewater Lutheran Church.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun little, traditional church service that I'm not necessarily used to.
Yeah, I couldn't remember I was trying to remember on the way there if you had ever done Christmas at the ranch before.
Not at the ranch.
Okay.
And I've only been to a Lutheran church one time.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe this varies by, I don't even know how the Lutheran churches are divided and like segmented and stuff. So maybe it varies by the pastor or by the region or who knows. But they had a part of the service where the kids come up to the front and sit around the pastor, and like they get like their own part of the sermon or the story or whatever. And so the boys went up there, and Darius was sitting up there loud and proud, answering all of the questions that the pastor was asking. It was great.
It was very cute. Yeah, we kind of prepped them a few days before, because typically like their experience with church is we show up and then they scurry off to their little classrooms with other kids their age, and they get to play or sing or do crafts or whatever. And sometimes Torrin will sit with us in what does he call it? The grown-up room or something. But ahead of time told them, okay, there's no kids' room here. Like the church is very small. It's like the size of this basement, I feel like. And so you're going to be sitting with mommy and daddy and you're probably going to be bored and that's okay. Like just sit tight and hang out and, we'll do presents afterward. And I feel like they did pretty well.
It is bigger than this basement,
Is
though.
it really? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
It's small for a church, but it's definitely bigger than our basement.
Yeah, I guess the pews, now that I think about it. Anyway, but it's not a big church.
Not a big church.
So yeah, church was good. And then afterward did Christmas Eve dinner Whitewater's very small. We've talked about this before, but there's one restaurant bar there in Whitewater called the North 40. And we had the whole place to ourselves, basically had a Christmas Eve dinner there, potluck style. My aunt and my cousin and probably a few other people also brought food, and we had a wonderful dinner there and opened some presents.
Your grandma was not feeling well enough to attend that part of the thing.
No, she was not. So that was a bummer. But it really was it was great in that no one person had to host at their house, and there was tons of space for the kids to just run around. There was space for everyone to relax and do what they wanted to do without all being kind of stuffed into one space. So that was good.
It was brutally cold while we were there.
Yeah.
Like single-digit temperature kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I did wander outside of the North 40 for a few minutes and got some like night shots of the grain silos and the church and stuff. Like everything was within a couple blocks of where we were.
Yeah.
That was nice, but it was so cold. So I did not want to stay out long.
Yeah, welcome to the High Line. So what else? That was Christmas Eve. And we stayed in order to, my grandma's 98 and also, wasn't feeling well. She's got some kind of virus right now. Wanted to reduce, or I guess encourage her to rest by not allowing her to host us. So instead of staying at her house, my brother and his family stayed at my cousin Carly's house. And the rest of us stayed at the bunk house, which is a house a mile down the road that the family, I don't know if my aunt owns it or if my cousin owns it. Somebody owns it. And it's typically used for when they have people come over and hunt, like they just stay there. But it was available for us, and it was a great setup. It worked really well.
Beautiful wood floors.
Yeah, I was really like, man, I want those floors in our house. I don't know how old that house is.
Rip it up, old. Stick it in the van, bring it home.
We're taking this. This is all I want for Christmas. Yeah, that house is probably similar age to ours.
Yeah, I didn't think about what year it would have been built.
But it was us and our boys, my sister and her husband and their daughter, and then my dad. And my mom stayed at grandma's house there so she could kind of be around to help in the mornings and keep track of my grandma. So I stayed with my mom at grandma's house a couple of evenings, but we'd go over there late after grandma went to bed so that she wasn't staying up and force feeding us food. But yeah, bunkhouse was a great little setup.
Then we did what? Christmas Day, sometime in the afternoon, we had presents at your grandma's house.
Mm-hmm. Yep, went over for just a bit. Did some presents and took some pictures, and that went well. I think it was just enough chaos so that she, could host and see grandkids and great grandkids, but hopefully not so much that she, was too exhausted afterward.
And then we did dinner at your cousin's house that night.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So cousin Carly lives about a mile away. I mean, you can see her house. It's flat.
So
you can
fun.
See a mile away there.
There's some up and down depending on where you go, but yes,
but right
a
there,
lot
it's
of
very
it,
flat.
a lot of it is very, very flat.
Yeah. So yeah, she's got a great big beautiful house, and again, great setup, like big basement, so the kids were running around there, and so yeah, we had a wonderful Christmas dinner there, and just hung out with cousins and played Uno Attack, which was nostalgic because that's what we grew up playing together at Christmases there when we were younger. You went on a walk for that, so you missed it, but it was great.
Yeah. Well, and then on the way back, so we're driving back to the bunkhouse from your cousin's house, and then your parents had left a little bit before us. So as we're coming up on your grandma's house, we see your mom's car coming up the other direction, and she turns into your grandma's driveway. So I just was like turned in and followed just to see what was going on. And was your mom going there for the night? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
But like we pull it up to the house and we realize there's some cows out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And I was like, oh no. So your mom contacted your aunt or something. It was like, hey,
I don't remember.
Turns out the cows had come over from your cousin's house. So they'd walked quite a ways. And we just kind of kept an eye on them until the actual ranchers could come along and move them back into this.
I don't know how helpful we were, but
well, I didn't know where they were going or what they were doing.
Sure.
They were moving around a bit.
Yeah,
so
they were busy cows.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Christmas. And then the next day we went into Malta, which is kind of the nearest town. You go to Malta. But they also have a really nice clothing store. And Grandma had given my sister and I some gift cards to use there. So we hit that up. And after that, went and visited Joanne, who is my mom's cousin. Had a quick little visit over at her place. And that's always a good time. I love Joanne and Howie.
Such a good time.
So we visited them for a little bit and then went to Sleeping Buffalo in Saco, Montana.
Yeah, a little hot spring situation. You and Darius did a lot of swimming. Torn and I did a lot of walking around.
Yeah, Torn is a real trooper. I mean, you too, but I was impressed. It's like indoor and outdoor, basically a bunch of different mineral pools, different temperatures. And, pretty much everyone went. It was like all the cousins. And then another cousin of mine, Tatum. So she's my second cousin. So her kids are my grandma's great grandchildren. So they were there too. So that was fun to see them and swim and hang out. So yeah, swam for a while. And then the kids had ice cream, which was a great way to end the day and great way to warm up. Like you said, very cold. So
yeah, the ice cream.
Well, I guess not the ice cream. The swimming was a great way to warm up.
No.
I didn't like ice cream on
the
a
ice cream
2-degree
was
day.
definitely warmer than the outside air.
Yeah, it really was.
But then the next morning on the way out of town, we stopped by your grandma's house just to say goodbye. Darius was not adequately prepped for this situation because your grandma was like, "Oh, you want a piece of toast?" And Darius is like, "Oh, sure."
Which I realized.
Like, no, Darius.
I realized in that moment that we had failed him because all of the adults are so used to the force feeding that she does. And really the situation right now is that she needs to stop trying to feed everyone else and she needs to sit down and eat. Eat, Grandma. It's the whole thing. So, all the adults are prepared every time you walk past her or anywhere near her, she's going to be like, "Oh, have you eaten? Can I, and we have our rehearsed reply is like, "No, I've already eaten," or "I'm about to go eat," or "No, I'm so full from the last meal." And then, so we walk in and she's like, "Darius, you want some toast?" It's like, "Oh, sure." I was like, "Oh, we did not prepare our kids for this." So of course he's sitting and eating toast and Torrin's playing on the bouncy horse that was my uncle's in like the 50s. And so we had a good little visit with Grandma before we left town.
And then we got stuck in Great Falls. So we stayed at the Hotel Arvon again.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we made it fun though.
Went and saw a movie.
Saw a movie with the boys. Relaxed at the hotel. It was good memories. It was a lot of time in the car and a lot of traveling, but definitely worth the trip to see family and see Grandma and cousins. And
we also had a lunch stop in Missoula.
True.
On that last day and met a Bayma listener, Andy. Then finally got home and it was tiring, but nice. I'm glad we did it.
I am too.
No regrets.
No regrets.